Raw is still the most continuing long, unwatchable pieces of schlock I've ever watched in my life. So, here's a review to entail that, and high, disinteresting content. We had a tag team battle royal and an unnecessary 7-minute promo involving Styles gloating over his opponents. For most of these guys, not even having any of their partners. Kofi's missing one half of his partner. Uh, Lindsay Dorado, and now they're pushing over the Viking Raiders to probably drop the belts from Styles to Omos. The match itself got average. Riddle hit a goddamn RKO for the second time, and they were trying to sell it over again when he was near elimination, but they caught him and they eliminated him. Riddle would come back to bite the bullet when Kingston had Orton on the ropes and about to hit him with Trouble in Paradise, but he took it for Orton, and then Orton got eliminated, with Kingston allowing the Viking Raiders to pick up the win. The fun part was when Miz says he couldn't compete due to an injury he suffered, even though he came out last week fine, and this is weeks prior after he just was assaulted by zombies that weren't going to be canon technically. So it's so dumb. It's just an excuse for drip him to use Morrison to use the goddamn drip dumbass gun on Lindsay. The match itself was forgettable. It was worth a commercial break, and it's like, why? Why open your show with a battle royale? Why open this to the irrelevance of many of these jobbers? And just an opening segment. It's like always opening segment, boring, boring over 5-minute promo, and then it's gonna close into a long match that doesn't go anywhere. At least they're trying to do something with the Viking Raiders, because last week they were just beating jobbers for like 2 weeks in a row until they've broken up, so now it's just them on TV. And then they had a segment later that night that involved Omos eating a chicken leg. Yeah, pal, we just love Negroes eating chicken. Yeah. Trying to threaten them, and I don't like Eric and Ivor's voice. Like, it's so cartoonishly, forcefully like deep, and it's just so like oozing with no semblance of threatening that it just doesn't entice me to care if these guys beat these guys up or not. Then we had Riker face, and they like segued awkwardly into something with Lashley, and I don't hate Lashley. It's just the way that the production with WWE is always, but it's shoddy. It is shoddy production. They always have shoddy production, and nobody pushes that up because they always like to gargle over their overrated vignettes nowadays. Back in the day, they used to do vignettes that actually had high cost, made crap feel like it was drama, and made you want to buy the pay per view. 20 years later, it's just we're in a feud, and then you hear one of these days, like it's not that interesting anymore. And then the production has you using main event overlay. They always close in into a spot that makes it feel less dangerous, and it just feels like less enticing. The only cinematography I'll ever like respect is whenever they do the goddamn cinematic matches or their documentaries. Then we have Jackson Riker against Elias. Elias turned on Riker last week, and the match itself was forgettable. Like there was a spine buster, a back and neck breaker. Like they're trying to force over this like spot, and now Riker cut off his hair. So now he looks like a guy that just came out of an American Sniper 2 movie, and he just oozes no semblance of fan connection. Like he's just aggressive, slobbing on his face mid Carter. That ends it in DQ, so he's just less threatening if he couldn't get the job done against the guy he was formerly with. So he's just so it looks like they're gonna drag this. They're gonna like they ended in count out this week, so probably next week they'll have Elias win, then Riker wins the next week, and then they're not even gonna have a match on pay per view. So none of this feels important. They keep doing this crap with Elias, even though you can do something with Riker. You you have a better shot making them a gimmick if they don't have that much of a vocal charisma, can't get the crowd on their side, but they have a semblance of a caricature that meets with who they are in real life. That can be humanizingly relatable, realistic, and fits what the guy looks like. Like, look at Riker. He's shredded. He has a military background, and he seems to be underappreciated everywhere he works. So why can't you just make him a heel war veteran character? That is fine. I don't get it. So it ends in a countout. Riker wins. It's so dumb. We also had Ricochet against Humberto Carrillo in the double countout. This was another false finish, and this was a number one contenders match. These guys had this match for like over 15 minutes, and they were both trying to gloat over Humberto messing up Sheamus's face, and then Ricochet would spot the advantage. Like, super kick, there was a Hurricane Rana, and then, oh my god, and then it ends with a Spanish fly on the outside. Like, I understand they're trying to sell over that they did a dangerous maneuver that would knock out both men, but you know these men, like, there's protective padding, there's cushion on the floor. There's no way, like, it's only like a wood and like small protection on the ring canvas. And these guys fall like over several feet off the air for a Spanish fly spot, but they get knocked out to not last 10 seconds over a Spanish fly spot. The logic is like amazing. So, literally, it ends in a double counter because nobody really cares about these jobbers, and I know they're gonna wrestle over on kickoff anyway. Sheamus just gloats around over on commentary, going over, "Yeah, me face, why do you care about your injuries? Aren't you supposed to be this Irish warrior jobber? Like, why do you care about minuscule injuries? It's not getting you any type of heat. It doesn't make you less of a threat. You are bothered with two men that can't lift you up. That is dumb." Jeff Hardy faced off against Cedric Alexander. This match was alright, even though Cedric like cannot do promos to save his life. And it just got real weak when he tried to gloat and mock Jeff whenever he had the upper hand. Like, he gloats when he goes for a Michinoku driver, goes for a scoop slam, clotheslines, cut off Jeff when he gets momentum. And when he was trying to go mock Jeff for the final time and do a finishing maneuver, Jeff took advantage and hit him with the Swanton Bomb, then mocked Cedric Alexander for the victory. That's about it. It ends with Hardy doing his hand signs, even though it looked like he was flipping him the bird. That's the only entertaining part of the match. This match was nothing, at least Jeff got a win, because they've been technically jobbing him out for the last couple weeks, but really, who cares if it was Cedric Alexander? This man is a former, like, multi-time world champion. He's been one of the most popular figures over in WWE. And it wasn't like, oh, he was like a Daniel Bryan, or no, he was literally like an inspiration to a majority of pro wrestlers. So you're telling me that we're not even giving them that much of prevalence in the main event scene. We're just making them always like overcome that. He beat Cedric last week, so that's obvious. No, it's not. It's super dumb. Then we had, of course, Nikki Cross and Asuka. Plus, Nikki gonna get an opponent. I hate Nikki Cross. I put a video over on Nikki Cross, and it's like, stop. She has no gimmick. She has no quintessential character. Her accent is as thick as her ass. Like, there's nothing interesting about Nikki Cross. I'm trying to find the benefactor. She's part of the NXT 6. So that means that she... did you see her stuff with Sanity? She was just a midget Scottish chick. The only thing she had over on Sanity is that she was the female. She had no distinct difference out of Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, other than she was a crazy bullshit chick. You take it like we haven't done anything like that in a faction before. Daphne, like, come on. At least people could think, oh, probably without the makeup, Daphne would be a hot chick. If you look at Nikki Cross, she's just a crazy, fat-faced midget chick that has, like, no semblance of charisma. You can't put in a magazine unless it was like a women's movement BS. So they have this tag team match. And Ripley and Flair had to tag for apparently no reason. Where challenged Nikki Cross had to team up against Ripley and Charlotte for no reason. I guess if she won, she got a title shot at Hell in a Cell. That's about it. I don't know. We knew Asuka was going to be prevalent to all of this. Like, stop with Asuka wearing that dumb green face paint. She's not a bad-looking girl at any means. So why keep her doing the face paint if she's not even doing the green mist stuff? And the match was completely forgettable. It ends with the babyfaces winning over via roll-up. It ends with a small argument and a brawl with Flair hitting Rhea Ripley and Asuka and Nikki Cross celebrating on top of the commentary table. Like, it was forgettable. We also had a contract signing, and it was like the waste of 10 minutes because it's if you see in every contract signing, you know the result. You're not going to have anything prevalent or like poetic when it comes to hearing McIntyre and Lashley speak. I'm not saying that they're terrible wrestlers. I'm saying that they're just distinctly like ununique when it comes to talking, and they don't have that abrupt history unless you remember Impact. You gotta remember Impact. So he's saying, "I'm gonna beat you. This will be the final time I'll challenge for the title." MVP comes around gloating and threatening McIntyre. McIntyre doesn't care about the results. Lashley signs it, and ends with McIntyre cutting him with a sword. So it looked dumb. Trying to feel some semblance of badassery, like Lashley's not intimidated, and it just came around looking really bland. And then we had MVP also trying to consult with Kofi, trying to turn him away from the New Day, saying, "Oh, come and shuck it, jiving. I like your Kofi Mania too." Like, come on, man. I don't really care. No one cared about Kofi Mania. That's just a impromptu push for this Negro that has no charisma. They're just forcing him over our throats to try to think Kofi has something. Why don't they just force over something for Xavier Woods, a guy that actually has a platform and has shown to be more entertaining than Kingston? Uh, then we had Mansoor against Jugulak, and Mansoor won after after pinfall reversal, and then being consulted by Mustafa. And think he's ready, but he actually needs to get ready for Gulak. Man, I don't really care. This match was like nothing. I don't care about like the two bomber connection. I don't care how offensive that sounds. I don't like. There's no interest. There's so much stuff going on in the show, and it's just really interesting. Like disinteresting. I don't know what the Mansoor is. I don't know what his character is. I don't know where he comes from, other than he was part of the Saudi events for the last couple of years, and then did nothing to advertise him. He's just there. So what's the point? Like, someone please explain to me. Like, stop bringing over these guys that show no prevalence, and then you guys bitch about why Vince releases them. Because they have nothing to stand them out. And if Vince can't find anything to stand them out, then he wouldn't do vignettes. And if he doesn't do vignettes, that doesn't really legitimize or build up what this guy's all about. And if you don't get that, then why have him on the show? And that's going to be realized in like a year. Ugh. I I'm trying. Like Hell in a Cell, there's probably going to be like two Hell in a Cell matches, and barely any of them are going to have any preference for a story. Like any of this could have been just a regular pay-per-view or a super show type garbage that doesn't need that type of match stipulation. They still do it, and it's like, why still do it? Hell in a Cell. It's not like, oh, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the inhuman. It's where people cast away any semblance of a conscience. No, it's demon. It's demonic. It's hellish. We put red on it. Did you see his paint red? It's so bad. I think most of the people that I've been seeing watch-alongs or reviews, they have fell asleep. And people bitch and complain, oh, but there's NBA basketball. There was an era back when it was the Super Bowl, and sure, like still a percentage of the U.S. population was still watching Monday Night Raw. You cannot excuse that all because there was postseason sports on. That's just WWE having a poor product, not to grab more viewers. You cannot blame other channels for that. There's billions of other channel. There's billions of other YouTube channels on YouTube. Are you going to blame PewDiePie for stealing your viewership? Get your own head out your ass. Just don't like that mentality, like excusing why other people are big and why you're not. It's just because you're not doing something good enough to add more people, and that's literally Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. They keep with these dumbass things with, oh, you steal my finisher. I forgot that Riddle had to face Kingston for no reason after Kingston literally was getting disrespected by MVP earlier on the night for being a shuck and drive and Negro for the WWE. But then Riddle has to wrestle him even though Riddle bit the bullet for Orton. So then they wrestled later in the night. It was a good work rate match. There was a trouble in paradise. That was about it. That was the match. Like I think there was a couple spots he was attempting the RKO, it got countered, and trouble in paradise. So Riddle then had a backstage segment involving Orton. After a bit of a playing around where Orton was obviously not interested, Riddle like scooted off. If anybody tell me rated RK Bro is better than rated RKO, you are probably on crack. And I'm okay with that because I'm supposed to tolerate your bullshit. I'm forced to tolerate your bullshit. So our ending segment was probably the worst ending segments from Monday Night Raw in probably years. As long as I was watching it. I'd rather watch any illegitimate child segment involving Vince and Hornswoggle for the rest of my life than this. Ended with Alexa. This is a closing segment. This is a closing segment. They could have closed it with anything. With Riddle and Orton, with goddamn the contract signing. As cliche as any contract signing we have over on the show. You could have just had that as a cinematic moment into the show where it's like, this will be your final opportunity to challenge for the WWE title against Bobby Lashley. Are you sure you want to do this and write this contract? And you could add some barbs thrown in, a bit more drama put in for McIntyre's regretful decision. Actually make this match mean something, even though it's going to be an pointless giant cage match. Yeah, it's not Hell in a Cell anymore because they don't make it feel like Hell in a Cell match anymore. It's just a giant cage match. You could tell me different. I don't give a shit. It ain't like Hell in a Cell from back in the day, where it took like months of build up over years of storyline in place, where these guys genuinely had like hate each other over specific reasoning, and it makes you wait until these guys like batter and bloody and beat each other to end this whole thing. That's what a Hell in a Cell match is supposed to be. I don't give a shit if you even put trannies in there. That's never going to be it. You ever stop? So as for Shayna Baszler apologizing for saying that she's a stupid doll, she said that. Children don't want to watch this. Retarded children don't want to watch this. You know what children want to watch? They'll watch Invincible. Even though the parents don't want them to, they'll watch Invincible. It ends with Shayna. Alexa gets upset and mauls over Shayna after getting repeated to apologize and then mess up her doll. And ended with Shayna literally doing the whole and then shush and stomps on her stupid ass doll. And it comes with her trying to walk out because her magic. Why they keep directing this magic bullshit? Like the fans basically not intel into the storyline that Alexa's even involved in, And it's prevalent to nothing that she has magical powers. She gets berserk. Shayna barricades herself in the office instead of finding the parking lot and running away. And it's like, oh, she's not even with a feminine scream. A feminine scream. I really feel like that's how studs squirt because that's how disgusting it is. Like Shayna Baszler is not a feminine looking woman, and it's. I'm not saying that you always have to be. Just for certain people, for most guys, they would like a more feminine looking female. But by God, this show sucked. This show sucked. This is like the antithesis of suck. If there was any semblance of suck, or if there was a limit to suck, that's just know that Monday Night Raw has not even exceeded it or on top of it. They're above it. So that's the level that I have for it. Raw sucked. Just for the semblance of why people don't want to do reviews anymore. Because while people hated Raw from back in like 2014 to 15, at least they can make fun of a bit of what happened in 2014 to 15. That, oh, it's kiddish. Oh, it's kiddish. It can be a bit cliche. Some of but the Shield and Ryback are cool, and Sheamus can have good matches, even though we find them bland. Del Rio has potential. It's like at least there's a bit of optimism over that bullshit back then. Now it's just gimmick pay-per-views up the ass with no storylines. More oversaturation over these 15-minute false finishes, still with the inconsistent concept of 50-50 booking, and it's still false finishes over the wazoo, so nobody's directed to be a top star. Really, what's there? And they still want to consult this brand split like it really even means shit to hold the tag team belts, or the women's belts, or the world, or even have any of these gimmick matches that don't do much. Oh, the show sucked. Other than that, that's coming up for me. Thanks for watching. I'm going to take a Tylenol.